Okay, hey all. Today we are going to attempt to put together this Outsunny greenhouse. So we're going to start with step one. And so here you'll see me combining the two semicircle, I guess that's a quarter of a circle, and making a semicircle for the top. Um, this part went together really easily, and I've sped this up a little bit because I was not feeling the best this day, so I was moving extremely slow. But we got it done. So all the four top pieces are now put together, and I am taking, I think it's sections number 5 and 6, which is going to be the crossbar running across the top of the greenhouse frame, and I'm putting those together. And yeah, so like I said, I sped this up because I was moving really slow. You'll see at some points I'm just kind of like standing there. I'm not really just standing there. I put all the nuts and bolts in my pocket so that I wouldn't drop them. So now you'll see me attaching that crossbar, or attempting to attach that crossbar to the top. And y'all, at some points I am like struggling. And this is probably the first time you'll see me struggle, but it's all throughout the entire video. So I'm trying to get the bottom bolt to stay on the screw, and for some reason, like my little fat fingers was just struggling to screw that bolt at the bottom. But I got the first one done, and now you'll see me trying to like get it to actually stand while I'm trying to get the screw and bolt on. You see that front part is already leaning. Yeah, struggle bus. I was on it and taking my time, but I got it done. So you can see I'm like, please stay, please stay. Excuse me. And so that first step is done. I successfully did it. I'm feeling myself a little bit. I'm like, yes. I'm still trying to like struggle to get it to stand up because for me, I feel like it's going to fall down, but it didn't. So now we're moving on to step two. And on step two, I'm going to now put, I think it's, yeah, it's number 3 bars. And basically those are the side bars. And so I'm putting them on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all gonna come crashing down. And you see it's like leaning, and I'm like, how am I gonna get this to stand up? But I don't give up. I keep going. And so now you'll see I'm getting ready to start struggling. Like at this point, I'm like, okay, maybe I can't do this by myself, and you'll see why. Look at that. As soon as I put it on, it falls right off. And so, I'm like, okay, I got this. I can do it. I can do it. So I'm like walking. I'm doing it super slow. Remember, this is sped up. So walking myself across, and I'm like, yes, I did it. It fell off again. I was like, really? So we just go keep making the same mistake throughout the whole process. But regardless, I got it to stay. I'm trying to twist it to get the cutouts aligned. Okay, so now we finally got that. It's standing straight. I'm feeling like I did something at this point, right? So now I'm like, okay, I looked at the instructions and it was only 3 pieces, but I'm struggling. Again, I went and looked at the instructions. I come back, I'm looking at these pieces again. Yeah, I'm so confused at this point. Like, the picture is not making sense to me. And I'm just like, what is this supposed to look like? So I'm standing there and I'm like, I can get this. I can do it. I can do it. And so finally I figure it out. And I'm like, okay, put the screw in to help me hold the pieces together. And so now I'm adding the crossbar and another horizontal bar. And I got it. Of course, I'm still struggling with the bolts because, my little fat fingers couldn't hold all this stuff together. But I got it done. And so I'm like, okay, let me move on to the next step. Well, yeah, I jumped back on that struggle bus for a minute and was like, wait a minute, why is this not looking right? And basically I'm trying to put it together without adding the other crossbar. But I didn't know that at the time. So um, I think I finally just leave it alone. Yeah, that's when I was like, okay, let me just go back and do this other part that I already know. So I forget that and I move to the other section and I drop it again. Yeah, I'm so frustrated at this point. I'm like, maybe I need to call in help. But I'm like, no, I can do this. I can do this on my own. Again, what is it with me and that bottom section? Like trying to keep, I don't know, for some reason it was just hard for me to hold the top and the bottom piece together. But anyway, we're going to keep going. And I'm basically repeating what I just did on the other side. Um, yeah. And so I think at this point I feel a little confident because you see me, I keep looking over there, making sure it looks the same. And I'm like, okay, got that piece. Now let me try the back piece again. Y'all, do you not see that same piece keep falling off? I was like, Tawana, oh my God, what is wrong with you? But yeah, I'm like, I'm so frustrated at this point, but I also am determined to get this done by myself. So I get it done. I'm feeling good. I'm like, yes, let me just walk around, get this side. I can figure this out. Look, I'm confused again. I picked up the wrong pole, yeah. So anyway, I get it done. I've now realized, oh, I have to attach this other piece before I can screw it together. So, yeah, I had to take a break, but I came back because I was so frustrated. But I didn't give up. I came back. I'm trying it again, adding the two pieces. I think I got it done. I'm feeling myself a little bit. Look at that. I'm trying to like align it with my feet. Yeah, the whole thing just fell apart. And I'm like, this is not gonna keep happening. I'm not gonna be defeated trying to put this thing together because it's simple. You can see the steps are really simple. For some reason, my little fat fingers just are not holding all this together. So I got it done. Get my little screw in. You see, and now I'm even attempting to tighten stuff up. Like I just know I'm getting it right now. So I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and start tightening these little bolts up. Oh, it starts rocking. I was like, okay, maybe not. Let me go up here. Let me go to the front, back to the front where I feel comfortable. So anyway, I spent a little time tightening the bolts. And now we're moving on to the next step where I have to put the crossbars at the bottom. And this part was actually fairly simple. I basically just repeated what I did at the top, just screwing the crossbar to that number three um, bar, which is like the height, that gives it the height. And then I had to bolt that, I don't know what you call that, diagonal piece, required a smaller bolt also. So that was pretty simple. So I'm like, okay, got that done. Let's move over to the next side, add the bottom pieces. And so what I would do for each step, I would go ahead and add just the pieces that I need before I got started because I knew if I had all the pieces sitting out, um, I would get confused. So I'm only adding just the one piece that I'm working with at a time, and that helped a lot. You can see they're all still in the bag. Like I just laid them out number wise. I think it was like 1 through 8, and so that helped a lot. So I'm on a roll now, y'all. I'm just going. I'm attaching this bottom piece, and I can feel it becoming more sturdy as I'm doing it. You can see it's still rocking, but that's because of me just struggling. I've jumped back on the struggle bus and can't hold all three of those pieces again. But it's becoming a lot more sturdy. Okay, so I'm doing good. I'm feeling myself. I'm like going around, checking each side. Excuse me. And yeah, so now I got my little thing out again. I'm over there trying to attach those three pieces. So I'm doing that um, horizontal piece, the vertical piece, and then the number 3 bar. And I'm putting all of those together and trying not to tear the whole thing up while I'm doing it. But I'm kind of feeling myself now, even though I just bumped my head on the crossbar, but that's okay. All right, so we're pretty much done with step 2, and now we're getting ready to move on to step 3. Okay, and this is what step 3 looks like. And basically, we just finished the front part, and now we're gonna work on the back part of the greenhouse frame. So let's see, what am I doing? Kind of out of frame a little bit. Um, oh, so basically, I'm putting those 2 bars together, and so I think it's another 5 and 6 bar. I think that I'm putting together. Um, in preparation to add those onto the frame. Again, y'all, this is sped up. So imagine how slow I'm moving because I'm just like, I can't even function at this point because my frustration from those dropping. But as long as I'm doing these, horizontal bars, I'm fine. Nothing falls off too bad. So I got those put together and that was pretty simple. So now I'm looking at the top. You can see I'm like, okay, is that steady? Let me just check. So, because you know how I feel about what they call the number 3 bars, and I don't want it to fall off on me again. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling myself now because I'm like getting it together. I'm holding everything. Of course, I'm still dropping it, but I'm getting it together, and I'm doing this by myself. So I'm kind of feeling myself at this point. I'm able to put my little screws in with no problem. But you can see I cheated a little bit. So instead of starting from the top to put that bar on, because I knew I was going to drop it, I started from the bottom and worked my way up. So if y'all feeling me too, like this video if you think I'm doing some zebra strong stuff here. If you don't know what zebra strong is, go watch my previous videos, and there's a video about why I'm even doing this channel, and that'll explain all of that. So yeah, so I'm feeling myself. I got that piece done, and now I think we're moving to the next step. Okay, so on this piece, we're going to add the top portions to the bottom portion that I just put together. You can see I got the half circle again. And y'all, I was feeling myself so much, I didn't even pay attention to the camera being completely just out of frame. But you can see I'm just setting these on top of that number 3 bar. And I had to just kind of shimmy it a little bit on each side, keep going back and forth. But that was pretty simple. But y'all, now I gotta add more bars, and you know how we get when we have to add more bars. So I'm trying to screw them in as tight as possible and make this frame as sturdy as possible, so I don't keep dropping things off. But this part went pretty simple. I mean, it was just no problem. This part gave me no problems, but at this point, I'm kind of getting tired. I'm definitely moving a lot slower. Um, but I'm still proud of myself that I even got this far by myself. So now I'm having to do another bar, and I didn't like I dropped that one intentionally, so it's not like it fell off. I just wanted to go ahead and get my screw in place before I tried to attach it, but of course that didn't work, and I still had to attach it and then put the screw in. So now I'm screwing those pieces together, and I'm doing good, y'all. So, again, I'm kind of cheating the process. I'm starting from the bottom. The instructions say to start from the top, but we know that is not going to work with me and my little fat fingers. We like to drop stuff, so we're starting from the bottom and working our way up. And although this is really hard to see, you'll see me do it on this other side. It'll make more sense. So basically, I'm taking that number 3 bar that's the one that keeps like the fall off on me. So I'm starting from the bottom and attaching it in hopes that it just stays, and it works. Although now I've put my knee in the mud. That's okay. We're still getting this. And so now I'm adding that semicircle piece onto the number 3 bar that I just attached. And I'm doing the same thing I was just doing. I know you can't see any of this, and I'm so sorry. But I'm basically just walking back and forth and shimmying it down onto that number 3 bar. And unfortunately, like I said, I'm feeling myself at this point, and I'm just working, 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 and didn't even realize I was too zoomed in. And so you can't really, I mean, it's zoomed out, so you can't see anything I'm doing. Um, but I'm kind of slowing down, and I'm basically just adding another crossbar, I think. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I literally can't see anything. But I'm tired at this point. So, guess what I had to do? I had to call for backup. So, my son comes out and he's basically tightening up all the screws for me. He finished the back part for me, and now he's going through, because yeah, I was literally, none of my screws were tight. Some of them were barely in there. He was laughing at me, but I felt like I did a really good job. I got most of this frame done by myself, and I'm proud of that. So um so he's just going through tightening up all the screws that I just kind of left dangling. And I get a close up of him actually doing that. I don't know why, but I felt like somebody might need to know exactly what I was talking about when I was saying tightening the screws. Um, so he's just going through, and that the nut on the back, he's just tightening that up on all of them. And now he's adding the little, I guess these are like little, some kind of protector so that those rough edges don't puncture the plastic. So he's going in and adding all of those for me. And so we skipped a step. We skipped 2 steps. There was a step that said you should dig holes and put the frame in there. We skipped this and went straight to the cover because I'm not sure this is where I want this frame to permanently stay. So we did not dig the holes and attach this in the ground. It's just sitting at this point. So, okay, so I got me a little bit more energy, so I'm trying to help him put the plastic on top of the frame, and we can't figure it out. And so finally, I asked him, I was like, let's just move, you move to the back, you work on the back, I'll work on the front. And we finally figured out where we need to start. I mean, it took forever because it was folded so nicely and tight that it was hard to kind of get it loose. But we finally find the piece that we need. And y'all, I'm telling him, I'm like, wait for me. He's working so much faster than me, and I'm trying to catch up and stay caught up. And so anyway, you'll see that the back is going on a lot faster than the front. That's okay because I got it done, and that's all that really matters. So yeah, so you can see he's like, he's just so ahead of me, but that's okay. I'm just trying to keep up. And even though it looks like we're struggling, this went on really easily. I mean, there wasn't any snags. No, I mean, you're basically just adding and pulling down, adding and pulling down. Um, and y'all, I'm excited because look, it's almost done. I probably should have unzipped the front door. That probably would have made it easier to attach, but hindsight is 2020. Um, at this point, I'm feeling good. I'm finally smiling because I'm like, yes, it's done. It's done. So yeah, so that's my little greenhouse, y'all. So I realized that I've got too much on that one side, so I'm trying to. That's when I realized it. So I'm trying to pull it over and get the seam kind of where that bar is right there. But I probably just gave up. I'm like, it's good enough. So now my son is on the inside. That little bit took the rest of my energy. So my son's on the inside and he's attaching the plastic to the frame with these Velcro pieces that's attached to the plastic. Okay, and he does that all the way around. And now he's on the outside and he's attaching this little string that came with the kit. And what it will do is kind of just
So that's how like this.
secure
Yeah, you gotta do it a really good
the
knot.
plastic to the ground. And you'll see how he uses that little piece to stick it in the ground. Yeah, like that.
Is that too tight?
So I guess that's supposed to help it keep it from blowing away. Um, so yeah, so that's the end. It here went to and attached all four sides just in that same manner. And the total time it took to
I
build
think you're
this,
doing
and
it
remember I was doing most of
opposite
it
way. Hold on.
myself. So counting the time that I was working myself plus the time that my son helped me was 3 hours. Just a little under 3 hours. So this is it. This is we still have to get the bricks and put on the sides to keep it, from blowing away. Again, that last step that's in the instructions, but it's done. I'm proud of myself for getting as much done by myself that I did. And I'm walking into it now. I'm super excited. I've already moved my winter sewing stuff in there, which I know is against winter sewing because you're supposed to leave it out so they can get rain and snowed on and all that stuff. But I was just excited to have something in my greenhouse. So yeah, so that's me and a little help from my son. And if you like this video, please like it, comment, and share it for anyone else that may be building a greenhouse. Thank you.